Hello, my name is Affarirs from Edukea Tanzania. Welcome in this session to proceed with our topic known as Africa and International Affairs. And on the last session we ended on the objectives of COMESA, or Common Market for East and South Africa. So now we are going to look on the achievements of COMESA. The first achievement was member states have become more cooperative in the field of trade, industry, and agriculture. It means that the formation of regional cooperation known as COMESA, as the member states have become more cooperative in the fields of trade, industry, and agriculture. It means that after the formation of that regional cooperation, the member states planned to cooperate in various fields like trade, industry, and agriculture. So after that, the achievement which they have got as they planned in the objective, the trade, industry, and agriculture have been cooperating to participate in the increase of production in these fields. Like industry, they have been sharing the ideas and the new technologies concerning with industry in order to improve the production in industrial sector. In agriculture, they have been come up with the modern methods and other scientific skills which are being employed in the agricultural field to ensure that there is sufficient production of agricultural products that will ensure or will feed the industries and increase the export on the world market. But in the trade, it means that the COMESA member states have been cooperating in participating, have been cooperating in involving in trading activities. So the cooperation with the cooperation of those countries have made trade activities to develop among the COMESA members. The second achievement is the organization has also established a bank known as the Trade and Development Bank, situated in Bujumbura, Burundi, which finances trade and development projects. It means that another achievement that COMESA has been achieved, it means that they have achieved to establish the Trade and Development Bank, and that bank is there responsible for providing finance support to the trading activities and the development projects within the member states. Meaning that the member states are coming with the projects concerning with trade and the development in their countries, and that bank finance those member states of COMESA so as to run their activities in their respective countries. See, so that is another achievement of COMESA. So after looking the achievements, let us go to the problems of COMESA, or problems that have been facing COMESA. The first one is different levels of development of member states. It means that, as we know, all nations in Africa are not in the same level of development. So the member states of COMESA have been experiencing the different level of development, and that's why those less developed developing countries of COMESA have been believing that those countries which have high development will be dominating the countries which have the less development. So that has been acted as the problem among the member states. But another, the poor transport, shipping facilities, and the communication links. To mean that between the member states have been facing by the poor transport, shipping facilities, and the communication links or networks. It means the transportation facilities and communication networks has been poor. So in the communication activities and the transportation of goods, capital, and the services from the one member state to another have become the problem, and that has been facing the COMESA or the members of COMESA. So in one way or another, the achievement of the the regional cooperation that was planned to be achieved at a certain period of time have been encountered by that poor transport facilities and the communication links. The third one, it is existence of too many currencies in the region. It means that the member states which forming COMESA have different currencies that are used as the medium of exchange. So by having the different currencies in the exchange will mark other problem in the region or in the member states of COMESA, because every country will need to use a currency in exchange as the medium of exchanging in trading activities. So of having the different currencies among the member states that have been acted as the problem and led to some problems hindering the development or achievement of COMESA. But the first one, it is weak economic base of member states, that is dependence economies. It means that the members of COMESA have been having the weak economies. So the country, if have the weak economy, probably the development projects which have been planned to be attained or to be implemented will be like nothing, because there is no strong economy that will support or that will provide the support to the implementation of those development projects within the country. So the member states of COMESA have been experiencing the weak economic base that led to the economic dependence, and that economic dependence, COMESA have been depending on the donor countries to be getting the financial assistance in order to run their different activities in their respective countries. And the last one, it is the civil war, natural calamities, and the new colonialism. It means that civil wars, the frequent eruption of wars in the member states, and that has been hindering the stability and security in COMESA member states. Natural calamities like the occurrence of floods, earthquakes, droughts, and other natural calamities which have been eating those countries and get the loss on the financing those people who have been affected by the calamities which have happened in their respective country, as well as new colonialism. As I told you, that new colonialism is just a new way of colonizing the African countries. So the imperialist powers established the new ways that will be used to colonize Africans indirectly without knowing. So new colonialism have been exploiting the African countries, including the COMESA member states, and that's led to the economic dependence and the underdevelopment in those countries. So hence the development or the achievement of COMESA objectives have been probably failure because of presence of these three problems: civil wars, natural calamities, and new colonialism. So we have seen the problems which have been facing COMESA. After that, let us see the reasons which made Tanzania to withdraw from COMESA. The reasons made Tanzania to withdraw from COMESA. It means that there are some reasons that forced Tanzania to disjoin from the regional cooperation. As shown area, Tanzania withdrew from COMESA in 2002. There are various reasons which made this country move out of the organization. It means that in 2002, Tanzania was moved out from the organization, and there are some various reasons or factors that pushed Tanzania to withdraw. Firstly, Tanzania was discouraged by political conflicts in Zimbabwe and civil war in Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia. So she realized there could not be effective economic cooperation with the members which had these problems at the moment. It means that Tanzania was discouraged by the presence of conflicts or political conflicts within the member states like Zimbabwe, and civil wars in Sudan, Ethiopia and Somalia. These are countries which have been experiencing frequently civil wars among themselves. So in one way or another, the development or full participation of these countries will be poor to the organization, and the achievement of the organization will not be realized due to the poor participation of some member states. And political conflicts which was proceeding in Zimbabwe in that previous time before 2002, that made Tanzania to move out from the organization, fearing that the economic cooperation will prove failure because these countries are under the affection of the instabilities in their countries. The second one, or secondary, it is the country wanted to maximize efforts in some organizations like East African Community, which was formed in early 2000s. The government could not be able to unite fully with other East African communities if she was still a member in many other organizations. It means that Tanzania had many membership in different regional corporations. So Tanzania wanted to maximize or to increase the efforts in the participation of other organizations which was the member, like in East African Community, which was formed in 2000. So the government could not be able to unite fully with other East African Community if she was still a member of other organizations. So that's why Tanzania decided to move out from COMESA and to keep the full efforts on the participation in East African Community to enhance the development in those member states of East African Community, including ourselves. The third one was Tanzania withdrew from COMESA because she was avoiding the application of regional cooperation. It means that Tanzania withdrew or moved out from the COMESA because she wanted to reduce the application of having many membership in various regional cooperation. The country learned that there was no new benefits the people could get from COMESA. Most of the benefits were similar with those which were gained from SADC and the East African Community. It means that Tanzania realized that by having many membership in different regional cooperation, there is no longer any more benefits which she's gaining from COMESA, rather than just the same as the benefits gaining from other regional cooperation like SADC and the East African Community. And that's why she decided to move out from the organization and to keep or to push or to put the more efforts on the participation on this regional cooperation, SADC and East African Community, and to gain more and more from these regional cooperations. And fourthly, the financial contribution to the various economic organizations become a burden on the government expenditure. It means that Tanzania seems that the contribution or financial contribution to the organization become the burden, or it was a problem in contributing that finances which were supposed to be paid to the organization in order to run different activities within the organization. So Tanzania seeing that will be the burden to the government expenditure, and there's some money which must be allocated to the development projects will be directed to the contribution of organization finances. And the country could not be able to collect and spend money in many organizations like SADC, East African Community, African Union, and the Common Market for East and South Africa. And that's why withdrawal from COMESA was a way to reduce financial cost on regional cooperation. It means that the country or the government at large decided that she will not be able to collect and spend money in different regional cooperation, rather than to stick on some regional cooperations and to keep or to put more efforts that will be assisting her in different development projects, like in putting more efforts on SADC, East African Community, AU, and other bilateral organizations. And that's made Tanzania to withdraw or to move out from COMESA as a way to reduce the financial cost on the regional cooperation. So it was acted or was seen by Tanzania as the best way to reduce the financial cost on the regional cooperation. The fifth, Tanzania moved out of COMESA as a way to protect its industrial development from other COMESA members such as Kenya, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. It means that Tanzania moved out or withdrew from COMESA as a new way to protect the industrial development from other COMESA member states. It means that the member states of COMESA or some of the members of COMESA were industrial developed well than Tanzania. So Tanzania wanted to keep or to protect the industrial development in our country and to avoid the competition in the industrial development from Kenya, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. This country is still lagged behind in industry. So it means Tanzania is still under the poor base of industrial sector. So wanted to stick on the industrial activities in our country and to ensure that there is development in the industrial sector. So that's why she decided to move out. She feared that those countries could use main opportunities in regional cooperation to export manufactured goods which could compete against the products from Tanzania industry. It means that Tanzania feared that by being the member of COMESA, the other countries which have developed in industries like South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Kenya will use that opportunity of being the same member of the member of the same regional cooperation to export in Tanzania the manufactured goods that will compete with Tanzanian industrial products, and that will make the decline of purchasing power of the domestic products that are produced in Tanzania. So thus she withdrew to protect domestic industries and their markets. So it means Tanzania decided to move out in order to protect the domestic industries and the market of the products which are produced in Tanzania. All the points given above could explain the possible reasons which made Tanzania move out of COMESA in 2002. It means that those are five points or reasons which I have explained. These were the factors which made Tanzania to move out from COMESA in 2002. So as I have told you that we have in our topic we have 3 areas which we have supposedly to pass through, and we have already passed on the 2 areas whereby we have seen Africa in a continental cooperation, and which we have finished is Africa in regional cooperation, and the last area it is Africa in international affairs. So we are going to see Africa in international cooperation. It means the cooperation of Africa in international countries. Most of African states gained political independence in the 1960s. long after most of the global organizations like United Nations or UN had been established, thus nevertheless played an important role in global affairs. So let us see the cooperation of Africa in international affairs or international cooperation. It means that most of African countries in 1960 had got their political independence, and that made them to join in different international organizations. And thus we will see, or we are going to see, those organizations which were established after the Second World War, including United Nations that was formed in 1945. Let us see the types of international organizations. It means that the international organizations which were formed and made Africa to be cooperating in international affairs relied or fall into three categories. The first one is international governmental organization. It means the international governmental organization. These are organizations that fall under the government supervision, IGOs. These are organizations made up of two or more sovereign states. For example, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and the World Health Organization. It means that the international government organizations, these are organizations which are made up of two or more than two sovereign states. For example, the United Nations or UN, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the United Nations organ that deals with the refugees in any country that will be a member of UN. And the World Health Organization, the organization that deal with the health services worldwide. It is called the WHO or World Health Organization. And another, we have seen the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees or UNHCR. This is United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and the World Health Organization. So this is the first category of international organization. The another, it is international non-governmental organizations or I&NGOs. I&NGOs. These are the organizations which are supervised by the private people or private personnel. These are organizations made up of individual or private groups. For example, organizations like the Later Nation Red Cross, Amnesty International, and the Transparency International. These are the examples of international non-governmental organizations like National Red Cross, Amnesty International that deal with the human rights, and the Transparency International. And the categories was only two: the governmental organizations and non-governmental or international governmental organizations, and the non-governmental international organizations. So let us see the objective of participating in international affairs. What were the objectives of Africa to participate in international affairs? The following are some of the objectives of Africa participating in international affairs. The first one, to show solidarity with other states of the world, especially during emergencies. It means that the first objective was to show the solidarity with other states of the world, especially during emergencies. It means that Africa wanted to show the solidarity and the unity to other states of the world, especially when the emergencies occur on the world. For example, when there is the war or political unrest, civil wars, or any disputes concerning with the world peace and security or other other problems in the world. So that's why Africa decided to participate in the international affairs, so that if Africa got some problems, and that international countries will assist or give the assistance to the African countries which are the member of those organizations fall under the supervision of international supervision. The second objective was to give the continent a forum through which that could discuss the continental affairs. It means that to give the continent a forum through which that could discuss the continental affairs. It means that the African continent decided to cooperate in international affairs so as to get the forum which would be used to discuss the continental affairs in international meetings. For example, the issues which are taking place in Africa to be discussed in the UN meeting or United Nations meeting or NATO North Atlantic Treaty Organization's meeting. So these are the organizations which could give the forum for African continent to discuss the continental affairs concerning with Africa. Another increased participation in the United Nations General Assembly meant that Africa would henceforth receive more international attention than was the case before. It means that Africa wanted to increase participation or its participation in the United Nations General Assembly. It means that Tanzania wanted to give the participation and the cooperation in United Nations General Assembly so that Africa could get more attention from the international affairs or international countries as was before, as was not in before or in previous days. Another, it is to demonstrate their sovereignty through participation in global affairs. It means that Tanzania wanted to demonstrate their sovereignty through participation in global affairs. It means that Africa wanted to demonstrate or to show the sovereignty or the freedom of the country to make the decision without any interference from the foreign domination to the global affairs or to the global countries. So that was another objectives. Another objective, or the fifth one, was to enhance African development. For example, the participation in the Commonwealth of Nations intended to develop Africa through English-speaking states that are more developed. It means that the Africa to participate in international affairs was to enhance the development of Africa, to enhance the African development. For example, the participation in Commonwealth nations intended to develop Africa through English-speaking states that are more developed. Similarly, the French community was meant to coordinate cooperation of the Francophone and their former colonial masters. So it means the African countries wanted to cooperate in international affairs so that they can get the participation in the Commonwealth nations and the Francophone countries, which could get the assistance from those former colonies. Another was African participation in the non-allied movement was to put the continent in a strategic situation in the struggle between the Eastern and the Western Bloc during the Cold War. It means that African participation in an allied movement wanted to put the continent in the strategic situation or in the protective. So after looking the objectives of Africa to participate in international affairs, I would like to give you the exercise in order to wind up our lesson. So our exercise is comprising with two questions. And the first question is, assess the reasons that made Tanzania to move out from COMESA. And the second one, explain the objectives of Africa to cooperate in international affairs. So these are the questions which you have to perform in order to increase your skills and knowledge concerning with Africa in international affairs. So until there, this is the end of our lesson. I would like to welcome you to cooperate with us in learning from Edukea, and welcome in the next session. Have a good time.
Purchase your tracks